All right, let's recap. So we have it now where we can jump. I can't use move the character at all, and I'd like to do that with my arrow keys. So let's take a look at opening our player controller and moving our character around. Now I'm going to change the update to fixed update. Now the reason for that is because fixed update works better with anything that has to do with. Now what I'd like to do is, as we talked about before, there's like there are all these great input parameters that Unity kind of hooks us up with from the get-go. So I'm gonna go to project settings, click on input, and you'll notice that they have a horizontal and vertical, and there's a couple of them. If you look at the horizontal down here, where's that at? Um, you'll notice that a lot of the attributes are the same, except this one is set up more for joysticks, and this horizontal is set up for keyboard and mouse. So either way, if we use this word, it'll give us access to a controller, and then this will give us access to the A and D keys for horizontal. And if we look at the vertical here, it'll give us access to S and W for vertical. So let's go ahead and use horizontal and vertical. So I'm going to select this, copy it, just so we know we have the same spelling. And I'm going to comment this because we're going to code our horizontal and jump back in. And then I'm going to grab my vertical, copy this, jump back in, and comment my vertical. All right. So the first thing I want to do is get that horizontal axis. So I'm going to do float and copy horizontal here. And I'm going to make this a lowercase h equals input dot get axis. And in that axis, I want to grab that horizontal property. So I'm going to throw some quotes in here. And I'm going to make this horizontal. The next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and hit Control D and duplicate that. And I'm going to grab line 25. I'm just clicking on the word 25 here, and I'm going to drag it down here. Now, if you're not sure why you're getting a little red squiggly there, the reason is we need to change the name of our variable. So I'm going to go ahead and make this a lowercase v. Now, you'll see some naming, some sort of programming paradigms where like they'll put an underscore there if it's private. I do that with some of the other videos. It's really based on whatever the culture is of the company you're working at. So now this word horizontal will store whatever our axis is every time we touch it. That's this fixed update here. Um, so let's go ahead and move our character around. So here we have our jump. So I'm just going to separate that a little bit. And here we'll have our move our player. All right, so that's that. And within that, I'm going to go ahead and do vector 3. And we're going to name this movement. And a vector 3, I don't know if you remember from the last time, it stores the X, Y, and Z axis. And maybe we'll throw debug.log so you can see that. So what we're going to do is create a new object of type vector 3. And this stores 3 elements, right? So we can put a 0 here for our X, a 0 for our Y, and then a 0 for our Z, right? And oh, it's perfectly happy with that. But what we want to do is we want to grab our horizontal and we want to say, hey, let's move our horizontal here and let's grab our vertical and let's say, hey, you know what? On the Z axis, I'm going to adjust my vertical here. Now I'm not going to do anything with my Y because this is what's controlling my Y. Remember we're doing vector 3 dot up. So when I hit my spacebar, so let's hit save and let's take a look at how that looks when we press play. And I think in the next video we need to start to code our camera controller. So I'm clicking in here and I can still jump. But what I'm noticing is I'm not moving. And I'm like, hey, what the heck is going on? And then I remember, oh, wait a second. We didn't actually assign this movement variable anywhere. All we're doing is we're storing these X and these updated um, X and Z values as we push them. That's where you have to go back and select your player rigid body. And the rigid body has actually a method called move position, which is here. And what we do is we can just say, we want to move the position of this object by, so transform dot position, and we want to move that plus the movement. So what we get here is this is going to move, whatever our current position is, it's going to move. So let's comment that. Move our rigid body's current position by the amount of press on our horizontal or vertical. Alright, so I'm going to save that. Let's see if that works now. So I'm going to go ahead and press play. We get our character falling to the ground. Oh, now look at that. I'm moving around. But he is way too fast. So what I'm going to do up here, actually it's probably going to be a she because I'm already starting to think about the character I'm going to design for this. And maybe we'll build it in Blender because Blender's free. Um, we use Maya at the colleges I teach at. So up here, let's go ahead and make a private float, and we're going to call that speed. And we'll equal, actually let's make it public so we can edit it in our viewer. And I'll make it a, I don't know, 10 here. Another thing is, depending on the video card that you have, horizontal is going to just update to whatever it is. A far more fluid way to do it is to multiply it times time.delta time. So let's go ahead and do that. So capital T, come on, I can do this. There you go. Dot delta time times that speed variable that we created. And I'm just going to highlight all of this, and then I'm going to dump it. Oh, let's grab this one too, behind my vertical. So what I'm doing is I'm normalizing the speed of this so that it's the same across any computer. You can almost think about it like it's using the clock of the computer to do that. I'm going to multiply it by that speed variable so we can adjust it. I'm also going to go in here and I'm going to hit Open Pro Builder, and I'm going to grab the edge, and I'm going to just extend this one out a little bit. So here's the edge mode, and as I pull this out, ooh, it looks like I have a lot of edges. So I'll grab all those edges and just pull that out. I'll grab these edges, pull that out, and let's do this too. And same here. And now when I press play, I get an error. Let's see what's going on. Oh, syntax expected semicolon. Okay, so let's double click this, see where that semicolon is. And it looks like I forgot to make speed equal to 10. So the error was around that semicolon. Okay, thank you Unity for catching that. So let's press play here. And now, oh, I have to click down here. There we go. Now I can move them around a little bit. So, and also I'm pushing my A and D. If you um, rotate your camera, there we go, S and W, so we get a little bit of movement like this. Um, we can work on a little bit of the rotation later, but for right now, I'm pretty happy with that. Alright, so I'm going to end this video, and then the next one we'll do like a very simple character controller script.